Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Hurrdat Media Network.
All right.
So we're preparing for a 3.5-hour podcast today.
Nice.
Marti Cordero from the Stormchasers is in. And
Clear my schedule.
He literally opened the front door and started talking. He hasn't seen people for a long time. It's been a minute since you've been around other human beings.
Well, it's always on. Okay, it's always on the nice computer screen. And,
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I have. It's funny. I've gone back to phone calls. It's like some days it's like, do I really have to look at? It's not looking at the other person. Do I have to look at myself for another 30 minutes?
Yeah.
No, please no.
Right.
So I've gone to phone calls recently.
I know.
And trying to mix it up again. Okay, phone.
Yeah.
Oh,
I haven't done a phone call
1973.
for a while.
So.
Yeah, just kind of welcome them right now.
Right.
But part of the reason you're here, not all of it by any means, but there's a lot going on, is that you guys have a baseball schedule because there are going to be ball games.
Hell yes.
Actually holding one in my hand,
Right?
a real schedule from 2021.
You know,
Right?
This is incredible.
There were a lot of difficult moments in 2020, and I'm, like I said, I'm not comparing to real issues that people had, but one of the most sad moments, and we just continue to hold on to them until January 15th or so this year, is we threw away 250,000 2020 pocket schedules. I mean, what do you do with them? We didn't throw them away. We recycled them, and that's one reason we held on. We wanted to make sure they went to the right spot, but we got them the week in advance of us shutting the office on the 13th of March last year. What do you do with them? I mean, the promo calendar and dates and everything was there, and we were going to start distributing them in the community on the 16th, that Monday. And
Wow.
So, it's funny. That was kind of, but I told our staff, it's almost kind of like, your that was kind of the last eraser. That was kind of like,
Yes.
okay, now we go forward.
You got to hold
Now
one,
we go
though.
forward.
You got to frame it, though, because to remember in 30 years, like, this is the season
Schedule
that
that never
didn't happen.
was.
We
Yeah.
have some. Yeah, we have
Yeah.
some, but we don't have 250,000.
No, that's good.
That's for sure.
So this year, and same way too with soccer.
Union Omaha had such an amazing first season, and I'm calling this year 1+. I couldn't go season 2. I couldn't go inaugural, so I'm just calling it 1+. But Coach Mims, we played an abbreviated schedule. We had 8 home games, 8 road games, and the team finished second. There wasn't a media poll to start the year, but we probably would have been picked to finish last, being the only expansion team last year, and no one knew who the heck we were. But what he did to get get players from all over the world. Some players we didn't even get till July because there were visa issues and all the travel, restrictions. To finish second, and we beat the first place team head to head.
Wow.
In the regular season in Greenville. And there's this interesting, I don't know how much time you spend on Twitter, but there's this interesting Greenville, Omaha community and rivalry starting based on professional soccer. And it gets kind of nasty sometimes. It's usually just
good rivalry.
It's usually sarcastic, but what ended up happening was we had 0 COVID cases the entire year last year, and then 48 hours before we had a couple of players that tested positive, and ultimately we had a few others, and we didn't get on the plane. And with minor league professional sports in COVID, holding the team for 3 or 4 weeks, especially players that are from all over the world, just didn't work. So we ended up not. So they claimed the championship, which they won. They were first in the table standings at the end of the year. Our supporter group and fans say, no, you didn't win it on the field. So it's been this back and forth.
Yeah.
And there was a belt that was created in advance of the Greenville Omaha game, and between the supporter groups, and our supporter group has it. So they claim since they have the belt, we won the championship.
This is a very muddy situation.
It really is.
It's a very muddy situation.
So there's a big announcement today at 1 p.m. Central, today being the 7th of April. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to air today.
This is actually in the future, the 8th of April.
This
So
is the 8th,
yesterday,
okay.
the announcement.
Yesterday at 1 o'clock.
Yesterday, go to social media and see what the announcement was between Greenville and Omaha. It's
Very
really a
good.
big deal, and it will bring a lot of notoriety to the community.
What's the name of the group from Omaha? Did they have a particular handle or?
They are Omaha Parliament, because a group of owls is a parliament.
Ooh, that's very smart.
Yeah.
It's extremely creative.
Yeah.
And then there's another supporter group called the Union Army.
Nice.
We would be in the Union Army. We're a little aged to be in Omaha Parliament.
Okay,
gotcha.
that's fine. Very well.
But they're awesome. Both groups are fantastic. Parliament obviously is larger. The soccer supporter group culture is something that I'm still learning and coming to appreciate. They have great causes. They have a number of partnerships here in the community and are doing a lot of great things. But, going back to soccer, we kick off next Saturday, the 17th. Tickets do remain. We're bringing in Sporting KC2. That's their USL championship level team. So that's the team just above us. We are crossing our fingers and toes and everything else that Ozzy Cisneros, the 16-year-old from South Omaha, that signed a major league contract with.
I hadn't heard about this. A 16-year-old kid,
Sporting KC, just earlier this year. So he's from South Omaha.
Yeah.
And our Vincente is our equipment manager. He coached him growing up. So at some point, I don't know if he was 11 or 12, there was an article earlier this year in the World Herald. So he moved to Kansas City to train. That's how talented he was, and his family stayed here. And then now he's 16. He signed a major contract. We're hoping that he's on that team because that would be, first time he plays as a professional here.
Yeah.
So get tickets, 17th,
That's awesome.
Warner Park, 17th at 2 p.m.
Great story.
And you can go to unionomaha.com to get those tickets. And then you can see the schedule as well. But yes, we have schedules for both teams.
I'm super excited about for this year. I think with everybody just like you, we're all just dying to be in crowds of people watching sporting events. I know you said when you were talking about sports being canceled, I'm not trying to, not talk about people that had real problems. But to me, sports being canceled is a huge problem for everybody. And it was last year because it's such a community thing, especially on our level of minor league baseball, minor league soccer. Yeah. It's something that we do as a community to get together. We couldn't do that last year. I think it's going to spring back this year and be insane.
Did you notice too, even if they had games, if they couldn't have an audience, the interest just wasn't the same. It's because there's that whole
even viewership has been down for a number of reasons, but also I feel that atmosphere and Pat, I totally agree with you. I think something that we talk about more now than we did 5 years ago is mental health and mental health challenges in our communities. Yep. But now I'm not a science or health expert, even though there are 35 million on Twitter that would tell you they are with COVID.
That's true.
But I think that is potentially, I don't know about pandemic, but it is, you're going to have people that used to have issues going into an office of 50 or 500 or 1,000 that haven't been in an office since February 28th or March 15th or April 1st of last year, that their offices may not even open up in 21 and it may be January. That's going to be an issue of getting those people reassociated into office and society, reacclimated. Yeah, absolutely. That's a better word. I'm a baseball and soccer guy. and then the other piece of that is the social anxiety of being in crowds, whether it's going to Warner Park, whether it's going to a CWS game, or whether it's going to a concert indoors.
Oh, there's some PTSD on this because
I'm a little reticent on going to a concert indoors.
Sure.
I mean, I am extremely thankful that I work in an outdoor venue.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Marty, it's interesting that you say that. If you can pause for just a second, mental health is front and foremost for a lot of people right now. And we are so excited to say that our podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Right.
It's Better, HELP.
One of these examples that we're talking about could be something that's interfering in your happiness or preventing you from achieving goals. We've all seen it especially over the last year.
All ages. I mean,
all ages.
BetterHelp can help in so many situations. If it's marriage, if it's family, if it's children, it's work related, whatever it is. They're licensed in all 50 states, thousands of counselors and therapists to help. And this is not a crisis line. This isn't self-help. It's a professional counseling service that's done securely online. So you can always find somebody to talk to.
And services are available for clients worldwide. You build a relationship with a counselor. And that's what's great about this is that you don't have to go wait in a waiting room and go into a counselor's office. Everything's done from your house. And a lot of people are that's one of the things that's causing a lot of anxiety now is actually getting out and doing something. So this could help.
And then add to that the fact that it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and they even have financial aid available. On top of that, if you use our code, which is PATJT, you can get 10% off your first month. So you can go to our landing page there on BetterHelp.com. It's BetterHelp.com/PATJT. and then you'll get the 10% for the first month. And we want them to know that you're there on because of our show. So that helps us, and because we want to help you.
Right. And you can also click down and hit the little link in the bio as well, or the link in the description.
BetterHelp.com. It's better, H-E-L-P, BetterHelp.com.
Sorry, Marty, to stop you right there. We just wanted to tie this in real quick.
There definitely is that hanging over people's heads. Even people who've been vaccinated and everybody around them is vaccinated. And but you still hear the rumors of, yeah, but you still got to stay 6 feet away and you still got to wear a mask, even though you've been vaccinated. You're like, what? So there's that tension, anxiety. There you go. That is going to take some time, I think, for people to get over.
It is, and everybody's experiences are different.
Yeah.
One of my good friends, Lou Schweckheimer, he was the owner of Wichita. He passed away from COVID in less than 5 days last summer. No pre-existing conditions, and worked out and ran, and a great guy. Didn't get to see his brand new ballpark open because they were supposed to open last year. COVID happened, so they're going to be opening this year.
Yeah.
I only tell that story because we all have those stories, and we all know people. And in the Be Kind movement that I try to talk about often enough, we just need to think about others. It doesn't mean that you can't go out and have fun. It doesn't mean that you can't be around others, but do it responsibly.
Exactly.
Do it responsibly. We all think different, so you know what? We all should act a little different.
I did yesterday, completely weird, as I went into Hy-Vee yesterday, walked around, got some food, left, realized I didn't put a mask on at all. Like, that's the first time. It freaked me out because nobody said anything to me. Nobody looked at me weird, but that's the first time I've gone into a store in, I don't know what, a year without consciously putting a mask on. It's just like it was like I flashed back.
It just slipped your mind.
It just slipped my mind. And
are you getting a shot? Or
I am
shot?
May, I think 6th is my first.
I got my first last Thursday, a week ago.
Any issues after?
No, it helped me. It calmed me. No, I'm kidding.
I think it's the wrong shot, Marty. That's tequila.
No,
It doesn't come in a
no, you don't get it
in a glass.
Yeah, you don't get the bar.
7 or 8 hours later, I got a headache. I was really tired last Thursday night. Friday, I was a little lethargic, but by Saturday, I was okay. My wife got the one shot.
Yeah.
And it Johnson & Johnson knocked her for about 48 hours.
Oh,
it did. She's okay. She's good now. And as I told her, you had 48 hours of not good, but you're done.
Yeah.
You know, I get my next, toward the middle to end of April.
Nervous Nelly for that second one. I've heard the second one's can be touchy.
That's
Not to scare you or anything,
No,
Marty.
it's fine. It
is what it is.
It is what it is. And I looked at it from a perspective, as we talked about earlier, 400,000 people at the ballpark. It's kind of my part in being around that many people. I hope that many people this year at the ballpark.
Yes.
Oh, I know it's a lot.
To kind of do my part. Do my part.
Interesting. It's funny you mentioned Parliament and then the Army, right? And there's kind of an age discrepancy. Last few days we've been going through a list of items that they say people that are over 40 shouldn't need to let it go. There are certain things, and I have my little list with me. If you want to hear a couple of them.
I would love to.
We're not saying you're over 40.
Not saying you're over 40.
Well, I'm 48 today, so.
Really?
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Very happy birthday. Holy
Right?
cow.
Holy cow. Man, that was perfect.
April 8.
That's fantastic. So, yeah, some of the things that we've already
So I'm really eager to hear
Now
this.
you want to hear.
Because it's 8 years of things I should have been letting go.
I'm way past it. Do you still have on Velcro shoes?
Good.
You can't have Velcro shoes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm okay there.
Okay.
I am.
Just
I
so
am
you
okay
know.
there.
That's a new one. Okay. Another one that's on here is cruises, they say.
Oh, yeah, I'm not a big cruise guy.
And that
anyway,
cruises are probably going to lose their value, lose their attractiveness, just in general. And I think that goes without saying, just because of COVID, that for a lot of people it's like, I don't know about that. I don't know.
I'm 2 for 2. Haven't done that.
Haven't done that. Okay. You should give up also the 24-hour news cycle.
Oh, I gave that up at the beginning
I'm
of COVID.
more than happy to give that up.
I gave that up about 4 years ago.
I would tell you I was up and down because of the world that I live in last year, just trying to pay attention to what all the non-experts were being experts on last year. But I would say since probably maybe this year, 21.
Right.
I've been pretty good since this year. I can't go back to November, but I would say probably around the first of the year, I've detoxed.
It's exhausting.
And honestly, because
It was.
we basically,
It was.
you think about it, because it started in the mid-'90s, early mid-'90s, when the 24-hour news cycle started. And then they added, now we have how many different networks that are 24/7 recycling the news. And it is bombardment. It's exhausting. You're right, it's exhausting. But
Well,
yeah.
Early on, two completely different things, but I graduated from high school in 91, so Desert Storm
Yeah.
and OJ. Those are the two things
that
really pushed the 24-hour news cycle. If you go back and look at
Desert Storm, O.J. Simpson, and then the Bill Clinton
situation.
Yeah, the situation.
that thing. Okay. That thing. Okay, another one here. Paper bills. Do you still get bills in the mail? Or are they all electronic?
50-50. Yeah, I'm shifting.
I've finally made the, I guess I got everything. Yeah, if I get something in the mail, it's junk. That's pretty much
I would probably
what it
say
is.
I'm probably closer to 75% digital now that I think about it.
It's kind of nice.
Because all the stuff I get in the mail, I don't request all that. So of the bills, it's probably 75 to 25.
A little bit.
I'm getting closer.
Usually if I get a bill, it's something that I see it, like we get the scan, the email that tells you what you're getting in there. If I see something that's, to me, that's a hard thing, it's like either something I forgot to pay years ago and it's coming back at me. Because I don't get any hard bills at all. So it's usually like, crap.
Yeah, that's what that is.
It's an crap.
Property tax.
Yes, property tax.
Right? That's the one that I don't. Do they even do that electronically? Like
you can pay it electronically, but they haven't figured out how to deliver it electronically.
They like to scare us. Yeah.
Isn't it? You know what's weird?
Our property taxes could go down if they could figure out how to deliver it electronically.
That's funny.
What a conundrum it is, right? Oddly.
They talk about, all this tax reform. Just stop mailing everything out.
Email to me.
Right? That'd be a big saver
Well, it's the same thing with license registration. That still comes in the mail.
Did you know, last year, if your driver's license was expired last year, they just renewed you.
Same picture and everything, which
Same
is
picture
legit.
and everything. So I'm good for another 5.
Yeah, but I guarantee if they pulled me over now, they'd say, this is a fake ID. This is not your picture, yo.
Right? Oh, my goodness, look at you.
You look like a completely
different person.
I showed this 2 weeks ago. They're like, who is that? I'm like, well, yes. Who is that?
I got to say, I like your hair now. It's more 40-80. It's more like, I'm going into 21 to kick its butt.
Well, we'll see how long it stays. They're coming up with a promotion.
Was your wife like
with
it?
charity. My wife loves it.
Then that's all that matters.
Well, but the team also matters. So we'll see what charity they come up with about cutting it.
That's cool.
We'll see.
I like it though. For the record, I like it.
For the record.
Thank you.
All right, I'll give you one more. How about ironing? Is anything? Do you iron it? Well, Pat.
Yeah.
What my Hurrdat Media T-shirts that I wear every day?
That's one of the few luxuries I do for myself. I'd take my stuff to dry cleaner, so I don't really iron.
Yeah.
Nice.
So get them pressed.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good with that.
But
I'm good with
in
that.
your role, you need to have stuff ironed.
But not as much as I used to. I mean, dry cleaners twice a month in the past. I think I've gone to dry cleaners twice in the last 8 months combined.
Well,
it's completely changed.
Crazy. Yeah, I never thought about that.
I mean,
you dress up though.
Yeah,
I used to.
Right.
I used to.
So do you think that's going to come back? This year.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, because I always hope when I'm looking at somebody on Zoom, not only do they look nice up top, but they at least have sweatpants on and not just a Speedo on the bottom.
You can't guarantee anything.
You can't. So I don't know if that's going to come back. I think button ups and sport coats for men will.
Yeah.
I think ties were declining anyway. It could be the death knell for even tie companies this past year. I haven't thought about that until right now at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, that has to be. Boy, talk about an industry that's probably suffering.
Yes.
Nobody thinks of a tie industry,
right? Because most of the retail outlets, you can get everything online, but I guarantee you, nobody was shopping ties this last year.
No.
And I think with what happened the last year, it's changed everybody's perception of the business, not just what you wear, but of business in general, of what you need. Because you don't need to wear a suit. You don't necessarily have to wear a suit and tie to get your job done and to look presentable and to look respectable. Because it was a kind of a big reset last year.
It was. And part of showing up was showing up and showing out, right? But what about the people who rely on their sock game to get them in the door, right?
Yeah. I would just notice yours. Are those tacos?
Oh, yes.
Are those Runzas?
Yes.
They're
Runzas.
socks.
You have Runza socks?
Yes.
Do they sell those, or is that a special Marty gift?
They were given to Mark Nasser. Mark works with Runza,
That's
our
fantastic.
partner, and we're excited about another Runza night this year. And we've worked with Becky and her team a number of years, and we'll be the Runzas again in June this year.
That's
awesome.
How about the Reuben Runza? How bomb is that? You had that yet?
I haven't had that.
I'm not a Reuben fan.
Oh, you're not?
Oh my God.
I I like corned beef. I can't do the sauerkraut. And so
Well, if you're a Reuben fan at all, the
I
Reuben
haven't tried
runs
it yet.
is it good?
It's insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's really real. They did a great job on that.
You know the underrated thing at Runza, because obviously it's a Runza.
Right.
Their burgers
Are
sick.
they are absolutely the bomb. They're
awesome.
They're the hamburger itself.
really are.
They really are.
awesome.
You think about if you think about the best tasting burger, just the burger. I mean, definitely Wendy's is right up there, but doesn't even come.
And Wendy's is underrated, and I'm from the South. Wendy's are everywhere,
Yeah.
and there aren't that many Wendy's locations here. There aren't, and it's probably good that the closest one to my house is 120th, because my jam at Wendy's is a spicy chicken sandwich. Oh my gosh,
So good.
Best.
It is so good.
The Runza grilled chicken, not to just honk on Runza all day, but the Runza grilled chicken sandwich is the best.
Is it good?
Insane.
The grilled
Sounds like
chicken,
I have to try it.
Yeah,
You do.
There's a Runza right next.
I can't go to Reuben, but I can try the grilled chicken
I may
sandwich.
have to. I may have to try it. There's a Runza right next to the doggy daycare where my dog Jack is at right now.
Yeah, you might have to get the Reuben.
Right next door. So when you pull up,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
smell the burgers. I can smell the Runzas. So I may have to make a little wing through. But I like the Runza socks.
Those
So
could
see,
be my favorite
the
socks ever.
I mean, you think about the guys who rely on the sock game. You didn't get to show them off all last
So
year
we went
because nobody
from the
could see
40
them.
from the 40 list to talking about Runzas. Okay, I see how this is going today.
Welcome to the
Are
new
you
Pat
sure
JT
30
show.
minutes is enough?
Right?
Just scratching the surface right now. Just scratching the surface is all we're doing. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So first baseball game, first soccer game again. When are we looking at?
Well, soccer is the 17th, as we mentioned earlier, and then our home opener is the 24th, and then we have a long delay.
Okay.
So for fans that want to see soccer, those are your two opportunities until June, and that's because of Stormchasers baseball. It's because of our road schedule, and then the state high school baseball finals.
Very
This
cool.
is our final year of an 8-year contract with the state. Doesn't mean we're not going to have it next year, but this is
Yeah.
our final year. And so if you look at the May schedule for Stormchasers and for Union, it's like, there's not a lot going on at Warren Park. There is. We have a ton of special events during that 2-week period.
Fantastic.
So from a baseball perspective, we put the schedule out in February, and then it
Excited
was
to get it out there.
We
Yeah.
were, and we put it out as soon as MLB handed it to us, and then 2.5 weeks later, MLB says, "Psych, we're delaying your season from April 6th until May 4th." May 4th is a hard start. We can't wait. It is May the 4th be with you day.
Yes.
Me being the Star Wars nerd that I am.
Okay, you know who's
But-
going to be there.
but, well-
Shane's going to be there.
Well, he
Little
will.
Shaner will
He
be there dressed
he
to
will.
the nines.
He will.
Yeah.
But he'll be alone because Star Wars Night is moving. Star Wars Night is
So
moving.
he'll be alone.
Yes, he'll be alone. Star Wars
Poor
Night is
Shane.
moving. And
Standing there in his little outfit.
Little
with
stormtrooper
a
outfit.
little Mountain Dew in one hand.
we all know. But we haven't released that date yet because as the season tapers in attendance for capacity, we've backloaded the promotional calendar
Nice.
because instead of having 3,500 people enjoy Star Wars Night on May 4th, we want closer. We don't know that it'll be 9,000, but we want 6,000 or 7,000 or 8,000 to be able to enjoy it later in the year. It's probably going to be August, late July, early August.
All right.
So, but that's how we've had to look at creating the promo calendar. And we just released a number of the promotional dates. Fans can go to OmahaStormchasers.com and they can see that. We just released that, I believe, this past Monday
Very
of this
nice.
week. But yeah, May 4th, we start with St. Paul Saints. They are now the new AAA affiliate for the Minnesota Twins. St. Paul was the most famous independent baseball club
Wow.
in America, and they do all kind of zany, crazy things. One of their minority owners is Bill Murray. And
Did not know that. That's hilarious.
yeah, it is cool. So they'll be here for the first time, and for the most part, we are playing teams in our own region. Iowa and St. Paul makes up about half of our schedule this year. They did that to maximize bus travel and minimize air travel. But now we're over on the east side, so we're not with the Pacific Coast League teams anymore. We're in what is the old International League, a very creative name called the AAA East. And so
I wonder how many focus groups that took.
yeah. So that's a whole other interview. Don't get me started on that today. So, but we're with new teams, which
Yeah.
is kind of exciting. You'll be able to see Louisville, Toledo,
True.
Indianapolis, and Columbus, as well as St. Paul, and then we are with
Yeah.
Iowa and then Omaha. So there's 7 teams in our division. Memphis and Nashville are also in the AAA East, but they're in a different division. They're in the Southern Division, but we hope to see them when the schedule becomes more regular, when
Yeah.
it's the new normal in 22. We hope to see both Nashville and Memphis come back.
I
But
love Indy, Louisville, Nashville. Those are 3 of the road trips that I went on when I worked for the Royals a long time ago. So going to those stadiums and those teams, it's going to be great to see them coming back to town.
It will. It's been since pre-98 when we joined the Pacific Coast League with the old American Association.
Wow.
And then also, we're with Jacksonville, we're with Buffalo, Durham, Charlotte. And for me, playing a team like Durham is really exciting because of Bull Durham, the history, and their GM, Mike Burling, is one of my best friends, and their social media managers, our former social media and PR guy. He's the guy who created Potholes. And so we're already talking about all these cross promotions
That's fun.
and rivalry things we can do. And so it's not all bad. Yeah, we're going to miss playing Round Rock. We're definitely going to miss playing Oklahoma City because it was one of our only 2 commutes by bus that we could do. But you know what? Change happens, and we're going to embrace it, and we're excited about 21 and 22 and beyond.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
The neat thing, too, I'm going to point out, and I know we've talked about this before last time you were here, which was a long time ago, but for people who haven't seen it yet, to check out 50 Summers, because Hurrdat Media, and actually it was before we were part of Hurrdat Media because it was Hurrdat Films.
Right.
Was standalone with Dan Napoli. You worked with them and they worked with you, and that's put that film together. And I just love that film.
That's so good.
It's crazy that about 4 years ago, maybe today, it was opening day, whatever opening day in 17 was, that's when we started filming that. And it's amazing how quick time just rolls and peels away. And there's your PSA for don't take your time for granted. But anyway,
Right.
But it's 4 years ago, opening day of 17 is when we started recording that, and then obviously we had the premiere in fall of 18 when we did that at Film Streams. And we were talking off air before, our all of our partnerships with Bill
It's
and
kinda
Dan
cool.
and all that, and
all
they
comes back
help us
together.
manage our social media and our digital marketing buys, and we do a number of things with them on that end. And
I was going to say,
and
years ago you had them because Chris Gorman is he's one of our directors for the entertainment side, and we were talking about the social media. I think when they first started working with you, do you remember when we were still doing radio? We were out at an event and there was a phenomenal social media team that was working
This weird
the event.
bearded guy running around
Right?
with the camera.
And
Weird
that-
there was when
that
Mr.
was
Belding
them.
was there. When Mr. Belding was there.
and
Yes.
Chris is weird, but yes.
And we at that time didn't even know who they were, and we were like, who are these people? Because they are
Yeah,
they
they
are
were
on
awesome.
it.
They're on it. They are.
It was fantastic. And then next thing you know, a year ago, the 31st of March was when Bill and Chris first came in this studio to be on the podcast with Core Bank about an entrepreneur podcast, and that's the first time they saw us or the studio,
And that's how things started.
and that's how things started.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that I'm not to go back to ties and not to go back to Zoom, but that the in person and seeing people, and that's why Zoom or face to face. Hell yeah, I'm going to come in and talk to you guys face to face, and I mean that's what we're missing. And again, that's part of that mental health, and I think the recovery of all of us, not just sports, but community theater, plays, concerts. My kid is in show choir and band, and he does piano. He does all kind of stuff, plays clarinet. And for them at their Millard Middle School that he goes to, just having his show choir competition, even though they were wearing masks and even though they filmed their performance and entered it with film, an online competition, and even though his band recital, if performance is at the end of April, you can only have 4 family members per kid, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing it, and that all matters.
We're moving
It all,
in the right
it all
direction.
matters.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, them not doing
Oh, it
anything
does.
for the 6-8 months was not good for them.
Nah,
It wasn't.
Nah,
No,
not
it
good
wasn't.
for
Not
any
at
of
all.
us. That's right.
And so sports matters.
Yes.
Sports
So
matters.
Quick
sports
little
matters.
nerd question real quick.
Yeah.
How long does it take to flip from baseball to soccer to baseball as far as the field goes?
Oh man, I'm
fascinated by this stuff.
It's a.
Like I love watching those time lapses.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's
Yeah.
been-
I'm going to answer it best I can.
Okay.
We don't really know.
Okay. Perfect. You're going to find out this year.
Well, we were going to last year,
Right.
This is true.
and we ended up not having to flip it until we got done with. I mean, we had over 100 baseball events and showcases and all the things. And we talked a little bit about it when I was in last year talking about the drive-in fireworks. But it in general, 36 to 48 hours on the front end. Going from, and when I say front end, always baseball to soccer, that's how we reference it because it's a baseball facility. It's a baseball park.
Right.
And then on the back end, anywhere from 24 to 36 hours to flip it back. But That's with good weather.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the flipping it back, that's making sure that the corners and edges of the infield and everything is ready for baseball again. Because pulling it up and taking it off of dirt, taking that sod up, that's not really a big issue, because there's not going to be root growth over a week. Now, there was root growth last year over 4 months, and the field was amazing.
Wow.
By the end of the year last year, it was like, this is a soccer field. It was awesome. Our grounds team just did an amazing job, and they deserve more credit than I'm giving them. And Pat, we're going to see. We're going to see how it
That's
happens.
interesting.
TBD,
Right?
to be determined.
It is.
Yeah.
And we did a time lapse last year when we did it on social media. I can only assume that our team will do the same again. But, we have one field crew that does both. We have one ops crew that does both, and one corporate sales team that does both, and financial. There's a number of crossovers between the two sports. Some of it was created before, and some of it COVID created just because of less employees, unfortunately. And we're growing back. But we're not going to grow back as quickly as we would want. It's probably going to take a couple of years before we get to full staff. But that's a big question. And the first flip is going to be, I believe, the 14th of April, getting ready for the 17th game.
Sweet.
And, we'll see, because we've had some high school games.
That's right around the corner, man. That's right around the corner.
It is. It is.
Yeah, it's right there.
Next week. My God.
Well, Marty, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much
Wow.
for coming in.
That was a quick hour and a half. That is fantastic.
And you know what? We have to go to a meeting, but you can sit here and talk as long
Yeah.
as you want. We'll just hit record and you just go ahead and go.
Well, you may want to be careful. I'll start promoting my toy show at the ballpark on May 22nd and all the other things we're doing.
That's what we want to do.
But
Yes.
Andrea's killing it. Andrea, I'm going to give one plug.
Yeah.
Andrea, and she has a new assistant, Leanne. They run our special events. And, for anyone out there looking for a safe place to do a special event, even we were talking earlier, host a civic meeting that you normally would do indoors. We can do so many things in our tents, and we're outdoors. We're safe. We're the most experienced of any sporting event in the sporting venue in the entire state. We're pushing north of 200 events since this started, and we want you to host events. But we need you. We need you to help us recover. We were off 91% year over year from 19 to 20, and this is an important year. So we want to help you. And
see, that's something I bet a lot of people hadn't thought of, and that will spur some interest, I guarantee you, because people are probably trying to figure out where can we hold this event.
We're
Where
talking
can we
about
do
weddings.
this?
We're doing. There's a number of things that birthday parties,
meetings,
family reunions that normally we go to a restaurant. People are talking about doing it in our club because our club can open up and is open air, and there's all kind of things.
Right.
All kind
Very creative.
and that's all OmahaStormchasers.com.
Awesome.
Marty, you're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It's
You
great to
got
see
it.
you. It's been too long.
It's
I
been too
know.
long. Thanks, man. Good luck. See ya. It's Pat and JT, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. 402-403-9478. Shoot us a text.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.